Hey guys, so we're currently here in Japan, specifically in Gotemba, in Shizuoka Prefecture for the Mazda Fan Festa, which is basically the Japanese automakers' fan gathering, which they used to do actually pre-pandemic, at least around once or twice a year. So now it's back, I think, after a 3-year hiatus, if I'm not mistaken. Basically, this fan gathering event stopped during the pandemic. So, and as you've seen nga, we already came from the event, already got some of my merchandise and car parts actually for my Mazda 6, as you've probably seen in my Mazda MX-5 video, my review of the MX-5. And yeah, unfortunately I wasn't able to report live in the event because we were really busy looking at the cars, the merchandise, and the car parts that were available for us to buy from aftermarket brands on site. So I'm going to be explaining to you every booth that we went into during the Fan Festa event. So of course, the opening ceremony started off with the historical race, or rather the historical exhibition where historical Mazda race cars went around Fuji Speedway. But the main highlight of that, of course, would be the 787B Le Mans race cars. I'm pretty sure naman you know about the 787B, that iconic race car that competed at the Le Mans. It was the first Japanese car to win at the Le Mans, and wow guys, how amazing the car sounded in person. That rotary engine, that 4-rotor rotary, was really powerful in terms of sound. It's kind of like a Formula 1 race car. It's really loud. It's really so loud. Talagang if you go up close to it at katabi mo yung kotse at ni-rev ng driver yung 787B, it's gonna probably damage your eardrums. Pero anyway, it's a nice sounding car. I think it's easy to say na your car enthusiast life wouldn't be complete if you haven't seen the 787B in person, no? So, yeah, of course, apart from the 787B, the opening ceremony, it's also worth talking about yung mga historical cars, the iconic cars that Mazda's made through the years. So, of course, that's where you're gonna see cars like the R360, Mazda's first ever production car, and became the inspiration for the 100th anniversary edition cars that Mazda made noong 2020 when the brand celebrated its 100th year anniversary. And of course, we won't forget about the rotary cars, which Mazda really built upon its reputation. So it was only Mazda basically that was able to bring the rotary engine to mass market use, starting with the Cosmo, of course. And Cosmo is perhaps one of the most iconic rotary cars ever produced. Apart, of course, from the next set of rotary-powered cars that we're about to see, the RX-7, of course. Of course, alam niyo RX-7, the Savannah RX-7, the RX-7 that we've probably known, the FD RX-7 that you've seen in a lot of GranTurismo video games. And of course, we also have to take a look at the RX-8, which is the last rotary-powered car that Mazda's ever built before the rotary engine was deemed to be too much in terms of emissions and fuel consumption, that it was discontinued in around 2010, 2013 yata, kung hindi nagkakamali. So, yeah, that's the end of the life for the rotary. But wait, before we say that it's the end of the life of the rotary, stick to the end of the video, or at least the iconic cars part of the video, because of course you have to remember that Hiroshima was the site of the Hiroshima bombing, diba, for World War II, and Mazda is based on Hiroshima, and it's one of those brands that basically helped Hiroshima stand up to its own 2 feet again, which makes Mazda a very significant automaker in the Japan auto industry. So you have here an MX-5 painted in special colors, blue and yellow, and then you have Mazda's first car, or at least the first motor vehicle after they transitioned from making cork to vehicles, kasi nga, you know that Mazda prior to making cars made cork. And then we're gonna see now here Mazda's modern cars like the Mazda 3, the CX-30, CX-5 in Japan's Retro Sports Edition. These aren't sold overseas, but you can get a similar spec naman in overseas markets like the Philippines. So kung gusto nyo ng kotse, just pick out a Mazda with zircon sand paint. Now, having mentioned the rotary part nga kanina, the rotary has been reborn. It's now alive once again, but not as an engine that actually powers a car. So ang nangyari ngayon is basically this rotary engine is serving its duty as a range extender for the Mazda MX-30R EV. So after the museum part of the Mazda Fan Festa, it's now time to go to the race cars of the exhibit. We weren't able to see all race cars because of time constraints, pero here, what you see here are the carbon neutrality cars that Mazda, along with Subaru and Toyota, are using. No? So, you have here the Mazda 3, the Toyota GR86 and Subaru BRZ, and the MX-5 Miata that uses biofuel for the Super Taikyu, the endurance race that's popular in Japan.
Ay, they act like they know. Guess I gotta hit them with an update. Okay. I've been getting to it when I'm up late. Hit it when you went the front gate.
And then let's now go on to, of course, the rest of the exhibit regarding the racing development of Mazda. So as you're gonna probably be seeing, Mazda currently now has what you call Mazda Spirit Racing. So that's what replaced Mazda Speed. Mazda Speed is now gone as they've transitioned to this sort of premium-ish brand. So yeah, goodbye Mazda Speed, and in its place now is Mazda Spirit Racing. And that's what basically is the equivalent of Toyota Gazoo Racing for Mazda. And so as you can see here, there's plenty of premium merch that Mazda Spirit Racing is selling. There's shirts, bags, apparel, the 100th anniversary photo book, which I actually purchased because when they celebrated the 100th anniversary, it was during the pandemic, 2020, and syempre I could buy the merchandise that Mazda is selling. So now we're finally here, and I was able to purchase the photo book that I really wanted. And as you're gonna see then, they're also selling yung mga diecast ng mga Mazda na favorite nyo. And syempre in my case, I have the Mazda 6 sa diecast. Back in the Philippines, sa Philippines yung Mazda 6 diecast ko I bought a couple of years back. So yeah, if you're a fan of Mazda or you own a Mazda yourself and you want to buy a miniature version of your own Mazda, this is a good place to go to for you to buy your Mazda merchandise. So apart from the Mazda Spirit Racing booth, we also visited the other booths like the MZ Racing. So MZ Racing isn't actually Mazda's factory racing team. That's a third party na. Anyway, apart from the MZ Racing, we also have to, of course, take a look at the aftermarket brands such as Project New, which I was really tempted, by the way, to buy brake pads for my Mazda 6. So apart from Project New, I also visited Auto Exe. So Auto Exe is yun talaga, that's the premier tuning brand of Mazda in the modern day. So Auto Exe doesn't really make a lot of performance parts. It's usually gonna be handling and aesthetic, especially with these new cars. Meron din performance, pero don't expect like huge power gains. But for the most part, they're parts that will really fit your Mazda really well, especially if they're still within warranty. That will fit your Mazda really well without compromising that much on durability, reliability, and as well as everyday usability. So not all of the parts were available on site. I have to order them online, or oh, by the way, actually prior to today's Mazda Fan Festa, me and Sam Surla from Visor were able to visit the Auto Exe headquarters. We weren't able to take photos, or actually we have photos, but we cannot show them to you because that's their head office and their R&D area, their garage, their workshop, no? So, syempre, we cannot take photos and release them in public. Pero, yeah, we've met with the people, we've even met their marketing manager, Shingo-san. So, yeah, for my Mazda 6, they said that if I want to order one from the Philippines, they're gonna be willing to ship it to me when I get back home in the Philippines. So very cool job on that part. It's one of the things I love about my job, by the way. And yeah, so Auto Exe, that's basically the major tuning brands of Mazda right now. And so here's RE Amemiya. I'm pretty sure kilala niyo RE Amemiya if you love RX-7s, RX-8s, because they're basically the major tuning brand of Mazda rotary vehicles, yung RE Amemiya. And so yeah, it's a really fun event. It's very memorable. Personally, as a Mazda fan, yeah, so I'm really happy that Mazda Philippines, along with other select media as well, were brought here by Mazda Philippines at the Fan Festa event to basically immerse ourselves with the world of Mazda and the culture behind the motoring public in Japan and how they love cars, how they love their Mazdas, most importantly. And yeah, it's a really meaningful event. So here's a montage. I've been saying this plug, but basically here's a montage of what else you're gonna see in the Mazda Fan Festa. So enjoy!
Guess I gotta hit him with the update. Really with it, I ain't got a pump fade. Killer flow and hit him with the one take. Act like that. Guess I gotta hit him with the update. Okay. I been getting to it when I'm up late. Yes, sir. Hit it when you at the front gate. Act like that. Guess I gotta hit him with the update. Really with it, I ain't got a pump fake. Killer flow and hit him with the one take. Please tell me what's to them boys, I know they ain't talking about me. All up in the DMs for the feature, I know they ain't talking about free. Shorty, no lie, no leap. I ain't gon' lose no sleep, you don't hop in this Jeep. What you gon' sow, you gon' reap. Bet I'm gon' kill what I eat by the end of this beat. Put a little honey in my tea, put a little pep in your step, I bet on my soul.